Hey ladies, it's me, and I'm back for my labor and delivery story video. This has been a highly requested video, so I thought I'd go ahead and get it done. However, I did say I was going to do this video anyway. It just took me a little longer than anticipated, so go ahead and get this done. In the future, I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to properly transition from pregnancy vlogs to like Christina's life vlogs. So if you want to hear about anything, if you want me to do a video on anything, please let me know and I will definitely add it to my list. So you can comment below, send me a message on YouTube, or hit me up on Instagram to like kind of give me or ask me to do a video on a certain topic or whatever. The same goes with questions. So yeah, just let me know. Alright, so you guys know I had the girls on July 26, 2013 at 2:25 and 2:37. I believe those are the times. Don't judge me, I forgot. PM, and I knew it was like 2:30 something. So I think it was 2:30, I think it was 2:30, 2:25 and 2:37. They were 9 minutes apart, born vaginally, pretty normal delivery. And yeah, so I think my story, it gets to the end and it's kind of like funny a little bit, but I'll show you, I'll tell you. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Okay, so we'll start on the 25th. I was scheduled to go in at 4 p.m. They made me call an hour before just to make sure I could go. I did that. They said, yeah, come on and go. Basically, the whole day, though, I was just paying bills and running errands, making sure the kids had everything they needed and I had everything I needed, and that was it. Before I went, though, because it took me all day to do all that stuff, I didn't have time to like sit down and eat at a restaurant or sit down and eat at home. So I went to Golden Corral, which was like one of my favorite restaurants when I was pregnant. And I don't know if you guys have that in your city, but it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet out here, but it's really good. At least the one I go to. Not all of them are good, but that one I go to is always good. They make the best freaking steak ever. So I went. And make sure you close that screen door. Don't ask me for anything right now. Just give me 1 second. Okay, we'll scratch it. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So I went and I got some steak and stuff, and I did carry out. So I took that with me to the hospital. By that time, I had already had a relationship with the labor and delivery nurses. They know me up there because I have been up there twice a week, every week for like weeks. And so they were cool with me bringing my meal. They don't feed you beforehand, so you gotta do something. So I brought it. They gave me time to eat. I ate my food, which is so good. And go in the house. Hey. She's going to have to go in the house if she's going to do that. So if she starts crying, you can take her in the house. Get up. Kaya's cranky because she's tired. So if she's going to be crying, she's got to go lay down. Here, take Lala Loopsy with you. Anyway, so yeah, I went ahead and brought that. They gave me a chance to eat. I went ahead and ate. And once I did eat, they started me on my IVs. On my IV fluid. They started my IV and started my fluids and my antibiotics because I tested positive for group strep B. So I went ahead and yeah, started all that. Because I have twins, they couldn't do the normal method to soften my cervix or open my cervix because they checked me and I was only 1 centimeter dilated. So they couldn't start Pitocin yet because my cervix wasn't ready. So they went ahead, close the screen door please, and don't mess with the babies, anybody. So yeah, they went ahead and they couldn't do Cervidil, which I think is what they normally do. That's what I got when I was getting induced with Kaya orally. But they couldn't do that for me because I'm having twins and it's not recommended when you're having twins. So I can't remember anything today. Anyway, so they did this thing called Foley bulb. I think it's called Foley bulb method or something like that. And it's like a tube. It's got a balloon on one end and a balloon on another end. And they kind of inserted one balloon's in your cervix and one's in your vagina area or your vaginal wall, canal, whatever. They blow it up with sterile saline solution on. They blow close this door in your cervix and it opens it up, and it's supposed to help your cervix dilate to 3 centimeters, and then it falls out when it's done. But then the other bulb, they fill it up too in your vaginal area. They fill that balloon up, so it comes out looking like a little snowman, basically. But they blow that up too, and its gravity is supposed to pull it out when it's when you've dilated to 3 centimeters. So it hurt like fucking shit when they put it in, because, you know, whatever, it hurt. They said I had a high tolerance for pain because I did pretty well. They said I had a higher tolerance for pain than I thought I did, which I guess, because when I came in, I was like, epidural as soon as possible, please. Let's not have any pain today. Let's go ahead and get this done without, you know, me hurting. So, but they were like, you did good, you know, you didn't even really, but I guess it was the fact that I had other kids. I don't know. So with that being said, they put that in, and it's supposed to take a few hours to work, could take overnight, whatever. So, which is why they wanted me to come in that evening to start getting induced. So I went by myself. I told my mom, stay home with the kids. I want to be able to relax. I don't want anybody in my face. I'm one of those people that if I'm going to be in labor, I can't have you talking to me. I can't have you around me. I can't have you touching me. Matter of fact, just go away. You know, I'm one of those people. So I'm like, I told everybody, you know, I'll call you if I need you or when I need you. Just be alert. Just be by your phone for overnight. But I'd rather just have no one there and get sleep. So, plus, you know, I trusted my nurses. They were really good. So, anywho, she's so tired. So anyway, it took a few hours, and I started getting contractions. When I started getting my contractions, they weren't as bad as I thought they should be. I kept telling her, I remember telling the nurse, she kept asking me, what is your pain level? And I kept saying, 3 or 4, 4 or 5, just like always around there, never higher than that on a scale of 1 to 10. So, you know, it wasn't that bad. It's not as bad as I would consider pain, you know. But when I did get them, I was like, ooh, ow. Okay, you know what I mean? That's kind of like how it was for me. And so anyway, what are you guys doing? So anyway, eventually, as the night progressed, the contractions started to get a little bit worse, but I still was like around 4 or 5. I never said higher than that, so they weren't super terrible to me. And then they kept checking, they kept pulling the end of the Foley bulb and trying to see if it was ready to come out, and they were like, okay, well, when it's ready to come out, it should just slide out. It shouldn't be painful. But to me, it was kind of painful. They were tugging, and I was like, ow, I can feel that. And, you know, she's like, oh, it's not ready yet. So then eventually at like 4 in the morning, the midwife, well, I don't even want to say 4. It was like later on that evening, the midwife comes in and she's like, oh, it's definitely ready to come out. She just pulls it out. And I'm like, it hurts so bad. So she pulls it out, and it did look like a snowman, and they threw it away anyway. So, TMI. But, so yeah, so after that, I was dilated to 3. And then my contractions started going. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, be good, okay? Alright, just relax. Go watch TV. I know you're tired. You can go lay down. Okay. Just don't wake the twins. Close the screen door. So anyway, so after that, I was dilated to 3, and contractions started to progress closer together, and I was just like, oh man, now I'm starting to feel the pain a little bit, but still wasn't as painful as I remembered it. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't as painful as I remembered it, so I wasn't asking for anything, but they knew. So she's like, well, you know, my nurse was like, you know, you can get this drug called fentanyl, and it's an IV pain medicine, and it just takes the edge off of it. She's like, it doesn't completely do anything, it just takes the edge off of the contractions to help you get through it. And I wish somebody would have really educated me on pain medicines, because I've never had anything else but an epidural, and I wasn't really sure about anything else but an epidural, and I didn't want anything to make me tired, sleepy, knock me out, make me feel really druggy, or do that to the babies either. So I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I want that. And she's like, well, no, it just makes you feel like you've had a few drinks. I drink. So I'm like, well, I haven't had a drink in a year, but I know a few drinks is a nice feeling. You feel relaxed. You're like, okay. So I'm like, well, if it makes you feel like that, I'll have one, please. So I went ahead and did that. And it did. It worked. The only problem with fentanyl is that, 1, it makes you sleepy, and 2, which is not a problem because it was overnight for me, and 2, you have to get it constantly. So you have to get it like every 2 hours because it only lasts that long. So, but basically it carried me through the night. She kept giving it to me, give it to me, give it to me, and it helped me a lot. I honestly could say right now that I could have went through my whole labor with just that one drug. I didn't even need an epidural because it wasn't that bad for me. And it progressed fast once it got to the end. So, nonetheless, let me hurry up and get to the good stuff. So, once we got to a certain point, like that morning, they rechecked me and they're like, oh, you're only 5 centimeters dilated. You're moving slow, whatever. At this point, I'm on the phone with my family. I'm like, oh, they said I'm moving slow. I'm only 5 centimeters. Take your time, eat your breakfast, get dressed, come up this afternoon when you guys are up, and, just sit up here with me. And by then, we should be ready to have some babies. You know what I mean? But don't rush it. I'll just keep you posted. So, I was still up there by myself. They basically were like, yeah, you're going kind of slow. So I was like, all right, fine. And then so she's like, I was still technically rocking out with the fentanyl, and I was like, all right, I can do this. I'm uncomfortable, but I can work with that. Then she was like, well, my nurse was like, well, there's a scheduled scheduled C-section happening in a couple of hours. So if you think you're going to need an epidural or you're going to want an epidural, get it now. Because if you wait and he's tied up, you're not going to, we can get somebody else, but it won't be the person that does it all the time. And I'm like, I'll just just do it now. And then at the same time, because I was doing fentanyl, I was still able to get up and do all these other things. But I still had to pee every 5 minutes, which was a pain in the ass. So I was like, go ahead and give me the epidural. That way, at least I won't have to pee. He gave me a really strong epidural. And so it went pretty fast. And then I started to get once I had my epidural, I started to get this pain on my left side. And I was like, man, I'm getting this pain on my left side. I just cannot. And I know from having previous babies, I'm not supposed to have any pain with an epidural. And if you do, you're probably ready to push. So I was like, I'm getting this pain on my left side, and it just felt like this weird pain. So she's like, well, lay on that side, and we'll try to, see if it'll go away. I laid on that side for like 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm still getting this pain. She's like, okay. So she, baby B kind of like fell off the monitor or whatever. She couldn't find her heartbeat. She tried to find her heartbeat, She couldn't find her heartbeat. And I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to get scared. She calls in my nurse midwife, and she's like, I can't get her, find the baby's heartbeat on, baby B. She said she was having pain, whatever. So she pulls out the ultrasound machine, sees the baby, can't find the heartbeat. And I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong. What's going on? I called my sister. I was like, they can't find the baby's heartbeat. And I'm starting to freak out, yada, yada, yada. She's like, I'm on the highway. I'm on my way there right now. Anyway, everybody was already on their way because by this time it's around 2 something. And they're already coming up because I told them, okay, it's going to go slow. But they're not in a rush. But they were already, thank God, happened to be just about there. So she's like, okay, I'm on my way. She's on the phone, they're still looking for the baby's heartbeat. And I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, oh, dear God, they're going to have to rush me to the C-section, or rush me to the room to get surgery, which was right across from my room. They put me in the biggest room that was right across from the operating room, because all twin mommies are supposed to deliver in the operating room just in case you need a C-section. So I'm like feeling this pain, and like I was dead numb. That anesthesiologist gave me some heavy shit. I couldn't feel nothing down there. And then they still couldn't find the baby, and then the nurse just happens to pull up my covers, and she's like, oh shit, the baby's head is coming out. And I was like, oh my God, what'd you say? And she's like, the baby's head is right there, it's coming out. They push this emergency button, 15 people fly in, they're like, the baby's head's coming out. They come in, they rush in. My midwife didn't even have a chance to put her gloves on, and she caught Kimora, and she just slid out. I didn't even feel her. That's how tough the drug was. Like, I didn't feel shit. She came, she just slid out, and I was like, oh my God. They put her on my chest, and she starts crying. I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't prepared for this. I just am bawling. I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. And then she's like, okay, it's gonna be all right. You just da-da-da-da-da. They broke my second bag of water, and I had to push Kimora out. And then the next thing you know, they whisk them both away, and I have 2 babies. I mean, it was really crazy how Kimora just came out by herself. I didn't even have to push her. Her head was already out. That was that pain I was feeling on my left side. That was her coming out. I didn't push or nothing. She just slid right out. My water was already broken. I forgot to mention, but they had already broke my water for her, and they just broke my water for for Kinsley. I pushed her out, and that's why I think it took 9 minutes in between, because they had to take the time to put their gloves on, get organized, and then they're like, okay, break the water and go ahead and push, because the first one they were completely unprepared for. But nonetheless, and right at the same time, all my family showed up, so it was just like, hey, party for 5, everybody's here. So it was awesome. I had a great experience. My nurses were totally awesome. Couldn't ask for a better birthing experience. It was kind of funny how my nurse was like, oh shit, the baby's head is coming out. She didn't even realize she had said it, and I told her afterwards, and she's like, that wasn't me. And I was like, it was. But yeah, I'm really happy that they're here. And I hope that that summed it up for you. I'm trying to squeeze it all into like a 15-minute thing, but they were born 5 pounds, 8 ounces each, 19 inches long, and they were healthy baby girls. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them. I'll see you next video.